Okay. Wow, I feel like I don't even need to do the introductions now. But thank you everyone for coming, and I guess I don't need to introduce these lovely people, but
credits on our face?
Yes, I think
they
so.
are.
Wow.
and you're being filmed, so I love that. Okay, well, first, let me introduce New York Times bestselling author of, among many other books, The Female Persuasion, The Interestings, The Uncoupling, and of course, the wife, Meg Wolitzer. And of course, we have 6-time Oscar nominee, we think soon to be 7th-time Oscar nominee. You know her from Fatal Attraction, Dangerous Liaisons, Albert Nod, Sunset Boulevard, and many other films. Star of the film, Glenn Close. Okay. So let's get started here. Meg, Glenn, thank you guys so much for being here tonight and for this lovely story, lovely film. I love the film. We will do questions at the end, so be thinking of those now. But first, I want to start things off by asking Meg, you wrote The Wife in 2003.
Yeah.
So 15 years later, here we are watching it on the big screen. What's it like to hear not only is your book going to be a movie, but also your lead character is going to be Glenn Close?
That was unbelievable, right? I mean, it's like the icing on the cake. I wrote the book so long ago that this is really a labor of love for everybody involved. And when I was told that Glenn was involved, I think I did the Snoopy dance because, you know, people ask writers, do you picture who you want to star in the movies? And I don't ever. I mean, I wouldn't think that way. For me, the characters in my novels are kind of like, you know, the people in the background on a reality show who don't want their faces shown, so they're kind of blurred out. That's how I see them. But the minute Glenn came along, I saw Joan as you, and I've never stopped.
And Glenn, what did you think of Joan the first time you read the script and the novel?
I read the script first. I think I didn't read the novel until we were into shooting.
Yeah.
I think. I said, "Why doesn't she leave him?"
And did you find the answer to that question?
I did find the answer. It was
Care to
very
share?
important to find that answer.
Care to share?
What?
Care to share what that answer was? Why she didn't leave him?
Well, she's complicit. It's not just him, it's her. She gets the life. She gets to be read. And I think she says early on, writing is my life, and I think that's the truth. And at a time where she was made to believe that women won't get published and nobody cares about women novelists, she found, kind of serendipitously, that there was a way that she could write and be read.
And not everyone may know this. Really?
Sounds like the good humor man.
I always get excited when it's the good humor man, and then I look outside and it's a knife sharpener. That's like middle-aged people's good humor.
Not everyone may know this, but young Joan was played by Glenn's daughter, Annie Stark, and she did such a wonderful job.
Who's actually doing a Q&A like this out in LA all by herself.
Oh, wow. Like mother, like daughter. So what's it like to work on not only the same project as your daughter, but also the same character?
It was really wonderful. For Annie, it might have, I mean, she came at it, I mean, to be the daughter of a successful person and to want to do the same thing as that person, it's a hard position to be in. So the fact that she actually took this part, which she really thought about, I was thrilled because I've always thought she was a natural actress. And it was something that she kind of didn't, she went to college, she majored in art history, all to kind of negate this hunger in her to be an actress. And she came up to me a year after she graduated saying, I've been avoiding it for all the obvious reasons, but all I want to do is be an actress.
I love that.
Yeah. So I was thrilled, and I'm very proud of what she does in this film.
As you should be. Okay, I think we want to take some questions from the audience. Okay, so the question is for Glenn.
What did I learn
Yeah,
about
what did she
myself,
learn?
about women, and about life? Do you want to answer that first?
No, I do not.
Yeah, please both
Wow.
answer this.
Okay, what did I learn about myself? I actually have been in relationships where I've been made to feel absolutely invisible, and where I had no voice, and it was devastating. And because I wasn't evolved enough, I mean, as evolved, frankly, as my daughter, I didn't know how to negotiate that territory. To play a role like Joan was actually very fulfilling because I could face those real instances in my own life where I'd been made to feel the way she feels. So I understood it. I also had a mother who who deferred to my dad her whole life, and yet told me in her 80s that she felt she had never accomplished anything. And it was tragic to me. So that's me. And then about life, and about, what was the question? It was very...
About women, I believe.
About what?
Women.
About women. What did I learn? Well, I'm always learning, so it's really interesting because there's an article that I did that's coming out in the Times, and it starts with this quote, and I said, I don't remember saying that, but it actually is a quote from 30 years ago when Fatal Attraction came out. And it was about how women weren't nurtured, the way they nurture men. And so it's kind of astounding. It's astounding that this movie is coming out, though it was written 15 years ago. The screenplay was written 14 years ago. But it was a movie called The Wife. It was very hard to make. A woman novelist, a woman screenwriter, the major woman producer, a woman.
They couldn't get arrested. They couldn't get.
In the beginning, I mean, I was just hearing from Meg because we had a couple of drinks at the plaza.
So you can ask us anything.
I know, anything. What was I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, that women that they wouldn't make it.
What?
14 years ago, that they wouldn't make the film.
Oh,
They
yeah.
didn't want to do the film.
No, they couldn't find a guy. They couldn't find an actor who would be in a film called The Wife.
I think at one point there's an email from Jane Anderson, the wonderful screenwriter who wrote The Wife screenplay, to me saying, I don't know, maybe it's going to have a different title. Can you imagine? But she did not want to do that.
Well, I have to say,
nobody wanted to do that.
I have to say that Jonathan Pryce, though he did say it should be called The Husband, he knew how important the story and how good a story it was, and how a wonderful story it was about a marriage, about basically a love story, and I really salute him because we had to go to England to find our actor who would be in this movie.
I know.
Yeah,
He's amazing, isn't he? I just thought he was so great.
It's a beautiful performance.
Oh my God.
It's a gutsy, wonderful performance.
And the two of you, somebody said in a review that it's amazing that you haven't worked together. You seem, not only that you've worked together, you feel like you've been living together for a long time, right?
I know. Well, the first scene that we shot was the scene in bed. I mean,
How did that go?
Call him up breaking the ice.
Yeah.
All right.
I had seen him he was a absolutely kind of revelatory Shylock in the Old Globe Did anybody see that, Merchant of Venice? He was absolutely extraordinary. So he's a great actor, so I had a wonderful partner.
Yeah, he's wonderful in this.
Garp and Big Chill are two of my favorite movies. And I loved you forever. And I love this movie. And I can't wait till you get the Oscar. My question is, how have you managed to stay so relevant? Do you pick the scripts? Do you have an amazing agent? I mean, how do you decide, after all these decades to just keep, be in it? You're still here.
All these decades.
How do you choose the scripts? How do you decide?
Very viscerally, very subjectively. I have to, and I don't know if I can analyze it, but when I read a script, it's about, 10, 12 pages in, I think it starts resonating with me. And I have to choose something that I personally think would be challenging. I don't want to go over territory that I've gone over before because I don't want to bore myself or anyone else. And so it's very personal. It's very subjective. Now that's how I choose.
Maybe time for one more question.
Thanks for a brilliant performance. I'm from Sweden, so I was wondering, what did you think of working with a Swedish director?
I loved working with him. And I loved working with him. Well, let me tell you a story. I did a movie with a wonderful Hungarian director, István Szabó, and in that movie was Erland Josephson, who is in all the great Bergman movies. And István Szabó was a great lover and of Bergman, and he asked Erland Josephson, why are you all so brilliant in Bergman movies? And Erland said, because he knows where to put the camera. So I feel, seeing the result of working with Bjorn Runge, that he is he's standing on Bergman's shoulders. He basically knows where to put the camera to record what the actors are doing. If he has a close-up, he knows how to light it so you can see into our eyes. There's nothing more powerful than a close-up in film. There's nothing like it in any other art form. And for me, I have learned that the close-up is how you maintain an emotional connection with the audience, because you become the person that I am looking, whose eyes I'm looking into, and that is a great art. And it's not, it seems like filmmaking 101, where to put the camera, but you will be surprised how many people do not do that. They're thinking about a fancy shot, or they're thinking, anything but actually recording what the actors are doing. So Bjorn really understood the process, and he trusted us, and he supported us in a way that what we did ended up on the screen. And it was beautifully edited by his wife, Lena Runge. And I feel, we were talking about it just now, that you never feel the camera is other than where you want to be as an audience. And when you think about that and how tricky that is, it's a great accomplishment with something that's so internal and complex as the story that is told in this movie. So I am deeply grateful to Bjorn, and I've already told him I'm already jealous of any other actor who ever gets to work with him.
It's interesting, though, because for me, the novel is in first person, and it's a kind of pissed off, funny narrative. And people were saying, how was Glenn Close going to do it when you don't get that? It's not a voiceover, saying, I'm so pissed off. The minute I saw your face, and I saw that what she does with her face and how it changes. I don't, you know, we could all stand before a mirror and nothing would happen, right? Nothing. I got nothing. But even saying nothing, so much, right? Didn't you feel so much was conveyed in this film? I thought it was astonishing. Yeah.
All right, so best actress, best editing, best director. That's what we're doing for The Wife in the Oscars, right? Best acting, best editor, best directing. I think that's what's going to happen. That's what we need. All right, well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Meg.